I'm not going to mute anybody. So. I'll keep the chat open. You guys can ask on those too if you have any questions. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can.
Right on. All right. All right. So I did upload version 1.6 to the members area. I had a call at 5 a.m. this morning and went over some things. I'll kind of touch base on some of the big improvements, but all the gray stuff in the kind of feature tracker has been knocked out. So I'm going to go over probably these items right here tonight. I'll just go through them one by one and show you what the update is. And then spend a little bit of time going over the green items here and kind of reprioritizing things. But as you guys use the AdTactix tool, if you think of anything or have any good ideas that aren't added, even if there's elements that aren't included yet that you think would be cool to add, definitely just jot them down. I can't promise you anything, but we'll take a look at them and see if we can implement them. All right, so I'm just going to kind of run down through these changes really quick. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hop in and ask for more details. But the update ASIN level override functionality up until actually this version right here, I'm going to upload this. It's 1.7. I'm going to upload it after this call. I've spent the past 2 hours going through the other bid formulas. Most users will either use the Apex formula or revenue per click times target ACoS. Let's see, what have I done? I've made a copy of this, so I need to where is it? And we just recently added the ASIN level overrides, which if you're familiar with Apex, there was the SKU dashboard. So in AdTactix, there's now a way to run ASIN level overrides just on the bid override table. So everything's all in one place. Hopefully it'll make it a lot simpler and more efficient to manage everything. But I did spend the past 2 hours updating all of the bid formulas to use those ASIN level overrides. It was just the first two here. So they all work now with all the bid formulas if you want to use those. And again, the ASIN level overrides are essentially like what you see here, where you can paste in your ASIN, and then you can either pick actually ASIN or monitor ASIN. And that's how you can set your bid settings based on the economics of the product. If you change it to monitor, it's not going to bid based on any of the bid settings, but it will let you kind of monitor the performance metrics and see that type of slice of your account there on the bid override table. So hopefully that makes some sense. If not, feel free to speak up and I can go into more detail. All right, the reset search term report. I got this one from multiple people. So essentially when your sponsored products and brands sheet gets set up, there's going to just be now under wasted ad spend, reset search term report. It'll just unfilter everything and clear out any of the check boxes, and that kind of just lets you reset the sheet. One other thing I'll probably forget to mention if I don't mention it here is what I'm going to be adding. Haven't added to the bug tracker or feature tracker yet either. Is a way to quickly, if you want to skip using the AdTactix dashboard and just run keyword harvesting straight from your search term report. Right now, you can see the main way to do it is you'll set your criteria off the Tactix dashboard here. Let's see. In this section, which most users I've noticed have just kind of been leaving it by default to some specified criteria. Then you come up here and you have to filter first, and it uses this criteria to filter both sheets at the same time. And then you have to do kind of a step 2 where you select the ones you want to move over to your Tactix dashboard to track, and then you push them by this step 2. But in this method, you actually have to use the AdTactix dashboard to check to see if the search terms are already being targeted. Where if I added something like, if you're familiar with Apex, it had additional columns in your search term report where it basically said, like exact question mark, broad question mark, phrase question mark, ASIN targeting question mark. It's basically asking you, are they being targeted yet? And then it'll say like yes or no. So I'm going to add a feature to, I'll probably call it like a quick harvest or something like that feature where you can just come up here, click that button. It'll probably be right in here. And then it'll add in those extra columns to where if you just want to use the search term report to quickly find new search terms that you aren't targeting yet, that'll be a way you can quickly filter for that. And then you have still all of the extra columns that get added during the sync process, which is this button here. Those get automatically done during that step. So this new feature will be kind of a secondary step. You can use it if you want. If you don't want to use it, then those columns won't be in here. So I think it'll be something to test either way and see which option we like better. I'll probably just end up keeping them both in there, but I can see some advantage of having that. So I'm gonna add that here before I completely forget about it. Yeah, I'll know what that is. I'm drinking beer, so if I start slurring, sorry. All right. So that is the reset. As far as the search term headers and column formatting, I've cleaned all that up so you can see the header gets locked on the search term reports. All of the metrics are the correct decimal points and conversion rates or percentages, so on and so forth. Same with the brands. I've also formatted the ad files a little bit better, so your new bid will be red. Some of these other ones weren't the correct decimal points, so that's all pretty well taken care of. I think there might be a few other things I need to fix, but so yeah, this one kind of goes with that. Filter out already negated search terms. All right, so Stoptimizer script, if you recall, the Stoptimizer can be used two different places. So here's your criteria. You see it's called Stoptimizer, and then in parentheses, poor performers. So at the target level, you have your, got a cough all day, sorry, poor performers. You can run it now on all sheets at once. So it'll run it on products, brands, display, or if you just want to run it on your active sheet, it's going to check at the target level. And this is mainly used if you're testing new campaigns and you like to pause targets. Once they hit certain thresholds, you can easily do that by pausing in this column right here. And again, that criteria is just off that section in the settings tab. But at the search term level, you're using it to potentially bulk negate. So let me see if this script works. All right. So if we run the Stoptimizer here, you'll see it's going to throw a filter in this currency column, which isn't really useful for anything. And you just notice there at the very end, it removed or hid anything that was already negated. So that just allows you now to look at ones that have not been negated. And if you want to bulk negate them now, any of these that are like in broad or phrase, they would usually be potential for negating. You just come up here. Push those over. So now they're over here. All right. Then you can pick your negate type. Right. And create negative upload file. That'll just create your bulk file. Right. And then these numerical IDs is the trick with the new bulk file that the legacy version, you didn't have to have those, but upload this. And then the next bulk file you download, all of these that you've negated will be in your bulk file. So then they're going to show up in, you're going to show up in that negate column. You're on the Stoptimizer the next time, it's going to automatically filter them out. So you'll always be looking at anything that's not negated. And I think it just helps with the workflow. If you have a standard SOP that you like to use, it'll make it a little bit more efficient. So that is what that one is. As far as this one here, this is for sponsored brands, video ads in particular, where if the formulas in your metrics are such that it calculates a bid less than 25 cents, then it's automatically going to raise it to 25 cents because you can't bid less than 25 cents for sponsored brands for videos. So that just prevents the upload error from happening. So I guess the point of there is just know that that's kind of integrated now into it'll actually happen when you run these here and optimize your bids. It'll set anything that in this column here is a video. And if it's less than 25 cents, it'll just set it at 25 cents. Cool. All right. Expanded targeting. So this is for ASIN targeting. I kind of jumped the gun on this, and Elizabeth Green told me after the fact I should have done it different. So I'll probably go back and rework this, but we've got a button now here where these top three things are the items that Bulk Sheets currently isn't supporting. So campaign level negations in your sponsored products, ASIN, expanded targeting in your sponsored products. They actually are supporting it now. You just have to, for the upload files, you have to basically remove the ASIN expanded wording and just change it to a normal ASIN targeting type nomenclature. So I'll redo the script so it automatically does that when you push that button. And then this one here is for sponsor brand files. You click that and it's just going to remove any draft or negative rows in your sponsor brands file before you create your upload file. So that's what that is. All right, so this one here, had a user this morning who had been asking for this for a while, so I'm going to demonstrate this for you. All right. All right, so in this version, AdTactix, it's a lot easier on the onboarding. There's virtually no onboarding. It takes your ASIN list, SKU list from your sponsored products file. And what you can do is, I'm going to paste that there. I don't know why I did it. Just this. This nickname column is for a column in the tactics dashboard. You don't have to use it, but this custom 2 is the one that I wanted to illustrate here. And what it corresponds to is this custom naming tool in the bulk campaign builder. You can see any of these light gray text fields are dynamic variables, which means based on other inputs, it's dynamically going to change. So what you can do here is essentially come up with your own concatenated like string of as much text or whatever crazy custom name you want to come up with and split it up by SKU or by ASIN and plug it in here. So I'm just going to do something generic. And there's a few different applications. So I'm not going to go into them all here, but you can just kind of play around with it and get the idea of what it does. You can see here, I've set the order for my campaign name, for example, of 1. I want it to have, let's say, sponsored product identifier, and then custom 2 that falls down to this. So let's go now over here. And I'm just going to create like 3 campaigns for the fun of it. All right. And you can see the way this works. It like sets you up for the custom naming tool. And then you have to assign a few things here first. So I'm going to pick a couple different SKUs. Right. And then we'll just keyword 1. Keyword 2, keyword 3. All right. And then the idea is update custom names. Right. You can see it just basically replaces that with our custom name. So that pretty much allows full flexibility. It also can be used for renaming a lot of campaigns. I'm going to probably have to make another video on how to do this because you are kind of having to trick the system into how to set this up to do it in that manner. But there's a few other applications as well. So just wanted to let you guys know that was here now, and I don't know how many people will end up using it, but it'll be interesting to play around with nonetheless. All right, this one here is a automatic dedupe that we added on the negative upload file. So that is this file here. Essentially, once it gets created, the last step of the script will run a dedupe on these rows. And the issue with that one was if you had search terms and you had, like, say a broad in a phrase, or yeah, you'd have a broad in a phrase maybe in the same campaign or something like that. And the same search term was getting turned up, you could potentially have duplicated information, and negative upload files will throw an error if you try to upload those with duplicates. So that just prevents that issue. All right, this one here I kind of touched on. This one is talking about here where you can just run your core performers for all sheets at once, and that's just going to run that run the criteria on the settings tab for your products, brands, and display. And that filter there, I see probably 70% of the users use, and have the ones that do use it religiously do really well as far as reducing their wasted ad costs. And they're normally the ones that will also test a lot of campaigns and kill them if they're not running well earlier. So I see a lot more users have success with that strategy, definitely, than I see users where they just make a mass load of campaigns and then they won't make any more campaigns for another couple months. So there's kind of two different types there that I see, and the first one does a lot better for what it's worth. All right. This one was easy. This one is just on the delete use sheets. It's going to delete your brand asset tab when you hit that. So it'll clear all of these. It'll clear your sponsored product, brand, search terms, all of your negative campaign upload files, then these green ones as well. So it's basically like a reset button. All right. All right, so this one here is just, we added the image, and it looks like there's also the link to, yeah, you can click on that and it takes you to the product. So that's pulled off of the ASIN column, which is right here. It will only show for single ASIN campaigns. So you can see here, I've got multi-ASIN campaigns for these targets. Obviously not going to show up because it doesn't know which one to use. But that can be helpful for sure. Right. Paco's formula. So with this AdTactix dashboard, we've got the potential to pull in a lot of data if the keyword is on here, and you're tracking it in this column. You could pull in a lot of data into this bid override table that can be very useful. You can see this custom columns. I've started experimenting with just total sales and tacos. This actually is not from the AdTactix dashboard, though. This one you have to populate your business report, and you'd want to grab a business report that, let me hide you guys here, that's the same date range as your bulk file for it to really make sense. So file, import, 60-day. All right, so you'll have to look at these column headers if you use this and make sure you can change the ones you're selecting on the far right of the business reports page. You just want to make sure they match up to what I have here. I think this is kind of the default, but once those are in there, though, you can just sync this. and you can see we'll start to pull in new metrics. So you could add potentially, oh, I don't know, organic sales, sessions. You can see now that I updated that and I had some of the keywords on the tactics dashboard. I've got the number of keywords, I've got search volume, I've got organic rank, I've got sponsored rank. Somebody had a pretty good idea. What was it? Ranking top of search organically, then lower the bid automatically. And if you lose rank, raise the bid. So some sort of like rank lock based bidding, which is an interesting, I've tested that. It's got its place for sure. And this type of layout would lend itself as far as getting that data in here and then having the right levers to pull to do something like that. So it's just a thought. All right. Product image tacos.
Kind of on a,
go ahead.
I guess on a similar note, I was looking today at, in the Helium 10 keyword tracking tool, it shows like your Amazon choice badge. And
good call.
I don't think they show it in the exported file, unfortunately. But it's something that I'm looking at. Like if I raise my bids right now for the holiday season and I go from like 20 keywords having Amazon choice to like 36,
right?
Kind of nice to know, like, I get the benefit of getting the Amazon choice badge by bringing my bids up. So that's kind of another data point that I like to look at.
I wonder if I haven't really looked. I'll have to look in Helium 10 for the historical report. Is there a way to toggle columns or anything like that?
I don't think so. When you just hit the export, and I don't think it includes the Amazon choice in there. So
maybe I'll ping Helium 10, see if they can add that. That'd be pretty easy, I would think, especially if they've got it in their UI.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a great idea. I'm trying to think if there's any other way you could get that info. It'd be the easiest because we're already pulling in the rank data.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's why I was looking in their file, but it doesn't seem to be in there.
Let me make a note.
Right now, I use their stars to put a green star next to everything that I have Amazon choice on. That way, the next time I go in, if I've lost Amazon choice, I know which ones I've lost it on. So
what about I wonder if there's no like x-ray reports or anything that you could quickly ping that has those in the exports, is there? I really don't want to add a bunch more import files, but it'd be I know some people at Helium 10. Let me just email them and see what they say.
Yeah, I mean, if they put Amazon choice into the export file, then that would be something you could trigger on.
I don't know why the heck they don't have a universal ASIN report too for that. That just kills me. You have to download each one individually.
Yeah.
It's annoying. All right. So let's see. I've already done add to existing. Okay, yeah. All right. So this last one is haven't had this in any of the other tools yet, and it's definitely early, so it'd be bugs. But this new section, add to existing campaigns, basically it'll allow you to now hop over to this tool. Just start this over. All right, so theoretically, if you want to update existing campaigns, the trick that you need are some numerical IDs. And you would also need to know the campaign and ad group and match type that you want to assign. So you likely have a pre-established set of campaigns that are kind of your add to campaigns. And then when you want to update them, you come up here and you say, okay, I want to update 3 campaigns, for example. and you'll get the same type of layout. You do need to, again, have those kind of known what they would be. I'm just going to pick this one. And you gotta have an ad group. And so if we want to add another exact keyword, that, I think you can delete these. So let's pretend we just want to add that. And now we're going to say create update file. All right, sweet. Yeah, that worked. All right, so that allows you to update existing campaigns, and we will have a way very soon to use the checkboxes. So if you haven't used that yet, it's basically once keywords get added to this dashboard here, you'll have the active checker tells you if they're currently active in sponsored products. Then you've got the brands and display over here. I think there's a few examples in this test file. Yeah, like there's one there. So you can basically just use this master table to filter. And once you want to build out your campaigns, you can use these checkboxes here. And if you haven't seen how that works, you basically just pick the ones of, need to add a button to lock this, but let's see. View, freeze, rows, columns. It's gonna do that. So basically I have the keywords here, and then you'll have the checkboxes. And then if you wanted to put them in single keyword campaigns, you can go like this and drag it down. And then we'll have a way, if you want to add them to an existing campaign, then you'd have a button to do that as opposed to creating new campaigns. But create new campaigns, it's basically just like this, and you hit create PPC campaigns. Now, what I don't know if it's going to work is if it's going to overwrite what we had in there. Let's figure it out. Okay, we want to create campaigns now. Yeah, I got a little bit of formatting issue there, but it looks like the other part's working. So it's basically it's creating single keyword campaigns in this case, pre-populating our keywords, match type, the SKU. So then all you would have to do is have your naming tool set up how you want it before you ran that, and then you can update your names with this button. You can make any final tweaks and then just create your campaign file. The way I envision this working from the get-go, though, is you would pull your keywords from all these different sources like Keyword Dominator, your search term reports. You can hit this single button here and it'll pull in any search query performance report keyword that hasn't already been added. And then you would use filters like maybe your search query performance rank, filter by that. You can use your search term impressions, share stuff, and search volume, all that sort of stuff, and then come up with almost a schedule of new keywords to add to campaigns or create new campaigns with, and then have a really fast way to deploy them into sponsored products, brands, and display. So like we have this type of feature for sponsored products, we're going to be adding it for the brands and display as well. So you can see we've already got that built out. And one of the other things we've added is the audit. So this button here for the audit, it'll now give you the sponsored brands audit, which is right there. You can toggle it by ASIN here, and you've got a sponsored display one that I haven't finished yet, but it's right here. And then on the far right is your combined totals. So when all is said and done, it'll give you kind of the really clear picture of what's working really well and what's not. And you can hopefully use that to prioritize which campaigns or which keywords rather you want to add to campaigns next. So it's kind of the intent. All right, so that's the main updates here. These other ones here to the bottom were in the current version. Whether you've got to them yet or not, you can kind of read through them. I'm not going to go through them here, but I will open it up if you guys have any questions. Let me know. Nobody? All right. Well, as far as the next set of improvements, I'm going to finish up the audit. I've got one thing I want to add to Keyword Dominator that'll be helpful there. This is the quick harvesting feature I was talking about. I've got a couple of formatting issues, custom views, a couple of performance-based improvements that'll make things faster as far as loading. And okay, this one here is interesting. So with the search query performance report, you can see all the data per keyword, both organic and advertising related. Search term sees the data advertising related. You subtract one for the other, you can get an absolute organic data. So basically get use the search query performance report data to see your organic metrics from Amazon as opposed to Helium 10. So yeah, that'll be something. I've got a lot of room on this right here next to the search query performance, where I've carved out some extra columns to add custom calculations and stuff. So if you guys think of anything that would be useful integrating some of the metrics that are already on here, we can definitely add those. So I'll probably be adding some to this test here shortly, but other than that, I don't have much else. So let me know if you guys have any questions. You on here, Matt, or is that just your pretty face?
A little bit of both.
How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good.
I have this dumb light on all day long, so it's nice to turn it off.
Gotcha. How's your guy doing with it? I've already forgot his name.
Jalou, he's doing amazing. Actually, we just we're getting ready to launch a new product, so we're doing KDB for that new product, but we're gonna create a whole bunch of campaigns in bulk. Yeah, so it's going great with AdTactix and with Keyword Dominator boosted.
Yeah. So. Do you find AdTactix a lot simpler than Apex? So far, the feedback has been it's quite a bit simpler, especially if you skip tactics.
So much simpler. I love that sponsored product, all of the sponsored product brands and display you can do at the same time. Just change the screen. I love that. That's awesome. That's probably one of my most favorite features right there, just by itself.
Yeah. Yeah. So what he's talking about is it'll tell you even in this column if you've got if you have like usually portfolios, if you got like the same portfolio being used in all three, it'll show you that. And you can have all the metrics from all three ad types on the bid override table, and you can optimize everything with one button. So this optimize all, you guys keep getting into that, optimize all, and you can export all. So that creates all three files at once. So it's like 3 times faster essentially than Apex, and the script here is probably 4 times faster than the original initialization. So I have
the other thing just recently that I found was in the bulk file. You can write from that keyword, bring up right from that broad match, for example, and bring up all of the search terms that converted underneath that keyword. That was super cool. That I found that just like yesterday, the day before playing around.
Yeah, he's talking about this button down here. You can basically search on any like broad match term. Like here, click that and it'll open up in your search term report anything for that campaign and ad group and keyword to show you what's firing on it. So yeah, that's helpful. So let me see here. I wanted to. What about you, Andrew? You got any questions?
I'm just soaking it in. I haven't dove deep into AdTactix yet, but it seems like I really need to.
Yeah, it's for so far the feedback's pretty well been night and day as far as better than Apex. So I'm trying to get everybody that's using Apex onto it. I've had to twist their arm a little bit, but
I think that'll be my main goal tomorrow.
Change is hard, man. Change is hard, but it's worth it in this case.
Yeah. I guess what I would pose to you guys is if there's anything in your whatever weekly or monthly process that you're still having to click around and put together. I feel like I saw Jason, he's on the morning calls. He's really good at SOPs, stuff like that. Or not Jason, Justin, sorry. He wants to add a new filter here. Oh, that's what I was going to tell you guys. Sorry, I'm jumping around here, but if you guys don't use the labs tab, it's really powerful. These 3 sections here, this one, and this one, super powerful for like renaming portfolios, or if you want to have preset campaign names that you always want to just quickly navigate to in your bulk file. Same deal with targets. You can basically put a list of the campaign names here and then just come up and hit the campaign quick sort, and that sorts your bulk file for just those campaigns. So it's not something you can do obviously in a filter like this. You can't say, oh, I just want to see 20 campaigns, show me those. But if you use that, you can. Not a lot of users know about that because I probably have done a shitty job in the training showing it, but that's what that does.
It's always been one of my favorite features.
Yeah. And as soon as you start using it, you're like, wow, I can use this for a lot of things. Like one of the most powerful ways is you can sort. So like if I, for example, let's see, I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna do all enabled targets. This is just going to filter out all the paused and archived stuff. It's going to sort my orders largest to smallest. All right. And then let's say I've got a 60-day bulk file in here right now. This is a really small dummy data file, so it's not going to show the significance, but say I've been running this same set of campaigns for a while and I just want to look and see how much wasted ad spend I'm racking up that hasn't converted. It's only $50 on here, but I guarantee you if you guys do it on your account, it's probably, hundreds, if not thousands. I've seen it be hundreds of thousands. So what you can do is basically say, okay, I want to pause all of these. Well, that would be easy. You would just pause this, but let's say you wanted to look at all these campaigns for whatever reason, right? You could copy all these campaign names, copy them, come over here, Control Shift V, paste them. You do want to remove probably the duplicates, just like that, right? And you can come up here, labs, quick sort, and you've got the option to show on list or show not on list. So if I click not on list, it's going to show me everything but what's on there. I want to see everything that's on there. I would click this and hit yes, and then this is going to show me all of the rows associated with those campaigns. So it's going to show me the target level, all your placement levels and everything. So it's a real easy way to efficiently navigate around that you wouldn't have otherwise. And a few other columns here that are pretty useful that weren't in AdTactix or weren't in Apex is this one here. This number is going to show the active targets in that campaign. So if you want to see all your single keyword campaigns, for example, you can just filter that by 1. It's also got an ASIN column here, which if you look in the native bulk file, it only shows you the ASIN on 1 row, which is going to be your product ad row, which isn't useful at all really. And then this one gives you all of the ASINs associated with that campaign on all the rows. So you can filter kind of 2-step. You can do your entity and then do your ASIN or vice versa. So that's pretty powerful as well. Cool. All right, Cedric, what do you got? You got any questions or bright ideas?
At the moment, not really. But I will play around with the lab thing because I haven't really played around the lab thing before, and then I'll add some features in the sheet.
Yeah, no, yeah. If you
Yeah.
have anything that bright ideas, just feel free to jot them in there, and I may, if I don't know what you're talking about, I'll probably reach back out to you and get more info. But
All good. Nah, the tool is pretty awesome. So yeah, nah, it's next level.
Agreed.
yeah, so I've probably got another couple weeks kind of with this beta group and knocking these out, but I'll be honest, we're going to knock this stuff out pretty fast.
Mm.
So once I get to a point where it's all just really easy stuff, I'll probably open it up. And right now you guys are the only ones that are using it. So I've got some interesting stuff. If you guys have any like Amazon groups or communities that I've got some interesting affiliate opportunities. We're going to really be pushing that hard. That could be pretty lucrative. So I've got a few
Speaking of that,
affiliates.
hey, do you have is there anything that I can't show right now?
Nah.
It's all
I
good.
can give you, setup files. I've got, well, if you go here, actually, right here, there's test files you can download that I use.
But I just showed them my own data. I'm not worried about showing them my data.
Yeah, if you're cool with that, then that's
But yeah,
great.
so I mean, I just want to make sure, there was one I just showed the search term report. I was showing it to students that had never seen a search term report before, and I just wanted to show them how a pretty search term report looks with all the columns, unnecessary columns gone, and that kind of stuff. Yeah, I just showed them that. I wanted to show more, but I didn't know if I was allowed to or not.
No, for sure. Yeah, go for it. I think it'll look a lot better too once we add the active in the different match type columns. And I haven't really, I don't think, shown. You've got over here the status column means if it's the campaign ad group target, if that is currently active in a campaign, it'll say active. If it's not active, it means you've likely paused it, but it's still showing up in your search term report. The ASIN, that's gonna be the same type of deal if you've got multi-ASIN campaigns, which this illustrates the reason why it's not actually smart to do multi-ASIN campaigns, is because you don't really know for this search term that got triggered and that you got an order for, let's say, you don't know if it was for this ASIN or this ASIN, the way you structure the campaign there. So that's why when I do this, I'm more than oftentimes only going to do the single ASIN campaigns, and I'll just sort it or filter that first. Now, if it's obvious and you've got like a lot of similar products, or it's just like a size difference, then that makes sense. But anyway, hopefully that helps. And then also in this search term report, since it's a custom one, I've pulled in the search term impression share rank, which there's some hidden sheets, if you ever cared, that automatically get imported. There's your sponsored product search term impression share, sponsored brand search term impression share. Also got your search query performance report data that gets automatically imported, and your rank history data that gets automatically imported. And then that info is right down here. So that's where all that comes from. So what I'm going to be working on next is I've got a small team now. I've got guys that are working on the Google Sheets side of stuff. And then also we're going to rebuild AdTactix in Excel, which will give a lot of performance improvement opportunities. You can pretty well build pretty much all the tools all in one workbook at that point, just because it's hosted on your local PC. So I'll be working on that, but I'm going to focus a lot of time on these SOPs that are written out. I've got some other pretty slick PPC management guys that are sharing kind of their strategic process. So we'll be documenting that, and you'll just be able to basically expand this, and you can leave it open while you're going through your process, and maybe have a 2 or 3 times a week, let's say you optimize your bids, and then every couple times a month you do a few other operations, have some SOPs for that. So kind of like an SOP library for that. But if you get stuck right now and there's nothing in the, I only have like the one training video in the members area, but you can go through this here to learn how to import the data for the AdTactix dashboard, and then you can go through this one that'll go through the optimization process. So this is kind of the one that it's more generic that I've put together that I've seen work well on multiple accounts, but you can definitely tweak it. And if you want to have it show up in the middle of your page, click this button here, and then takes a second, but it'll show larger there for you. So you can run down through that and hopefully learn a little bit faster. But if you guys have good SOPs that you'd like me to add in that fashion, I'd be more than happy to add that. I'd like to, like I said, create a library of the ones that I think are good, and users can kind of pick and choose, and maybe even at some point have a way to make your own, but not there yet. All right.
Quick question for you, Brett. Like I said, I haven't dove deep into this. I'll probably be doing tomorrow. But are you importing the sponsored brands placement report as well, or not that?
Sponsored brands placement report, is that what you said?
Yeah.
I haven't played around with the placement reports a whole lot. One thought I did have with that is on the Target Sniper tool. I know if I downloaded the I guess it's a sponsored products placement report is what I was looking at. I would be interested in seeing the daily metrics at the placement level instead of kind of the aggregated level. But for the brands, I guess, what's your thoughts there with that report? How would we use it? Where would we use it?
I guess just to see, the sponsored brands placements as well as sponsored products on, whatever keywords. Like I said, I haven't dove deep into this. Can you put sponsored brand stuff in the bid override or not yet?
Oh yeah, you definitely can. You can do it at any of the levels. You can even do it at the ASIN level. It's just not going to work for like your headline search ads that have the 3 ASINs because it doesn't know which one it converted on.
Well, because currently, like for the sponsored brands placement, you don't get the metrics for the placement performance in the bulk file. So
I see what you're saying.
The only way to do it would be to download the report.
Yeah. Are you calling the placements like just the
Yeah, it's not like top of search. It decreases the bid for anything other than top of search. So it's kind of the opposite.
Okay. Yeah, let me look at that. I'll be honest with you. I don't think I've downloaded that one a whole heck of a lot. Maybe only once or twice for the sponsored brands.
Me neither. I'm just getting into it.
Yeah, so I don't forget. But I do want to add something for the Target Sniper definitely for sponsored products that will show you, like you can click and say, hey, I want to see over the past 60 days all my top of search PPC metrics, and it'll show you that for every keyword that you have on the bid override table. I think that would be pretty helpful. All right. You got anything, Jeff, before we sign off?
No, just really getting my feet wet with the tools. So
Cool.
I think as I dive in, maybe I'll have more feedback, but it looks awesome.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Well, I appreciate all your guys' help. I definitely wouldn't thought of half of these things. So I think the more we mess around with it and add to it, the better it'll be. So thanks again. All right, guys.
Thank you.
I'll see you guys next week. Cheers.
Later.
All right, man.
Thanks.
Have a good night. See ya.
Yeah. Thank you.
What's up, Matt? You still on here?